So, talked about how you actually form the image on the retina, and now you need to be able to take that the light signal that's coming into your eyes, the light waves that are coming into your eyes, and convert it into an electrical signal, right? One that can be then sent to your brain and interpreted by your brain. Right? Your brain can't take light, absorb light, and know what everything is. Right? It has to get an electrical signal. So you need to take that light and make it a neural signal. How do you do that? Well, in your rods and your cones, you have photopigments, pigments that absorb light. So in your rods, you have this photopigment that's called rhodopsin, okay? And it's made out of two pieces. You've got a retinol piece that's made out of vitamin A, has vitamin A in it, and then you've got an opsin piece, okay? And those two are typically joined together, okay? When light comes into your eye, into that rod, okay, that rhodopsin molecule absorbs a photon of light. And when it absorbs that photon of light, that retinol and that opsin split, okay? And when they split, they actually cause a series of chemical changes in that rod that causes that rod to send a signal to the bipolar cell, okay? And if you remember, here's what your retina looks like, right? So you've got, here's your rods, okay? And so you've got the rods and the cones here, okay, here's your cone, and then you've got a bipolar cell layer here, and then your ganglion cell layer here, right? And so the light comes in, okay, hits the rod, splits the rhodopsin, series of chemical changes which causes the signal to be sent from the rod to the ganglion cell, or sorry, the bipolar cell. And then those send a signal to the ganglion cell, and the axons of the ganglion cells become your optic nerves. Does that make sense? So by that protein, that compound, being able to absorb a photon of light and then split, it allows for those changes to occur, so that it goes from a light signal to an electrical signal. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So, okay, so that splits into opsin and retinol. So one of the reasons why, you eat carrots, it's like, oh, beta carotene, vitamin A, it's really, really good for your eyes. This is why, okay? Because that vitamin is used by your body in order to create this rhodopsin so that you can see. So if you don't get enough vitamin A, like when you're a kid and stuff like that, you can get what's called night blindness, because you don't have enough of the retinol, so you can't make that rhodopsin, so you can't see in low light levels. It's that's in the rod. So that means you can't drive at night, right? Because you can't see very well at night. Bad. So you can get night blindness thanks to not having enough vitamin A. Okay. Cones are a little bit different. They still have the retinol and an opsin, okay, but they have 3 different opsins, okay, and those are sensitive to different wavelengths of light, which gives you the different colors, right? So they split when a certain color, like wavelength of light, hits them, and so that's how. So they only send a signal when they get that light color hitting them and stimulating them to separate. Does that make sense? So you get 3 different opsins, which gives you the different cones. And if you lack the red or the green cones, then you get color blindness. You can't see color. We kind of already talked about that, yeah? Okay. Okay, so the next thing that you need is a pathway to take that electrical signal back to your brain. And you need a part of the brain to interpret it. Okay, so the rods and the cones, will send the signal to those bipolar cells, to the ganglion cells, and then those axons form the optic nerve, and that optic nerve is cranial nerve number 2. You'll need to know some of them, yeah. are the major ones. So you should probably know that the optic nerve is cranial nerve too. So your optic nerves, cranial nerve number 2. So optic nerves exit out the back of your eye, and then right about the position of the hypothalamus, you come to what's called the optic chiasm. Okay, and that's where the two pathways can come together, and then half of the axons from each eye cross over to the other side. Not all of them, just half of them. Okay, and so when that goes back to your brain, into your occipital lobe, let's say the left occipital lobe is going to be receiving information from both your right and left eyes. Okay, and your right occipital lobe is going to be receiving information from both your right and left eyes. All right, so both parts of your brain get signal from both eyeballs. And that's one of the reasons and one of the ways that you can actually get like depth perception, right? And be able to tell how far things are away. What's weird is that, so here, let me show you the pictures. So see how like these kind of cross over, right? And but only half of them do. So it's only like it's the part that's closest to the nose. Those are the axons that actually cross over. Okay, so here and here. And so your right eye is actually seeing the left side, or your right brain is actually seeing the left side of the object. Okay, so this is your right brain, right? The axons are the thing. So all of the light that's coming in here, that's the left. Getting here, that's the left side. Okay, and then that goes over to your right brain. Okay, so that's the left side of an object. And then this one right here, that's also the left side of the object. So your right eye actually sees the left side of objects. Your left eye sees the right side of objects. So that would look, if one of your eyes was like kind of damaged, and you're looking at a picture of Paris, this is more like what you would see. Okay, so like weird, right? So you only see like this. So if this is the left side of the object, your right brain is working. So this means that your left brain is not working, right? Or your left occipital lobe.
Oh, so that picture on the right is actually the right. It's one picture.
So it's one picture. Yeah, this would be one picture, but this is just what your right eye sees, and then your right brain sees. The filling in this would come from your left brain. Because this is, so your brain still like interprets and can see like just one picture, right? You can't see as far this way, right? But weird, very weird. Okay, so after the optic chiasm, okay, those axons go to the thalamus, okay, where they synapse, and then from there they go back into your occipital lobe. So the optic chiasm where they cross over, synapse in the thalamus, and then go back to your occipital lobe where it's interpreted. And what's weird to think about is that actually, like, everything that you see is actually an interpretation by your brain. So that's why, like, all of those like brain teaser things that you can like look at and they do weird things and stuff like that. That's all because your brain is actually interpreting what you see. So it's not like this is how it actually is. Like, it's more like this is what my brain interprets things to be based on my past experience. Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah. So, okay. So that's how you see. Any questions on vision before we move on? Oh, okay. Hearing. How do you hear? So cool. So your ears are your structure that you use in order to be able to hear what's going on around you. And you have three parts to your ear. You have the outer ear, the middle ear, and then the inner ear. Okay. The outer ear, that's the auricle, or like the piece of flesh that you see on the outside of your head. Okay. That's also your ear canal. Okay. That you clean all the time, hopefully. and then your eardrum. Okay, so those three things make up the outer ear. Okay. The middle ear, okay, you have the auditory tube or the eustachian tube. Okay, that's this tube right here. Okay, that actually connects your middle ear to your nasopharynx, so like the back of your throat, basically. That's why like you can like pop your ears, right? This is good. This tube right here is good. It allows for you to be able to equalize the pressure on either side of your eardrum if you were to change altitudes or air pressures. And so that's why like when you go up in a plane, right, you have to pop your ears because you're equalizing the pressure on either side. If you couldn't, you could burst your eardrum. I'll do that.
That's great.
It happens. Okay, so that eustachian tube, okay, that allows for you to equalize the pressure on either side of your eardrum so that you don't burst your ear. And then in your middle ear, you also have bones. Okay, you have three little teeny tiny bones: the malleus, the incus, and the stapes, or the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. Okay, that's what they look like pretty much, and so that's how they got their common names. Stirrup, yeah, I can see the hammer and the anvil, not so much, but. So you have those three bones, and then the eustachian tube in your middle ear. In your inner ear, you have the cochlea, okay, which is the actual where your organ of hearing is, and then you have the semicircular canals and the vestibular, the utricle and the sacral that allow for you to have balance. Okay, so that's your inner ear. Okay, and so we'll be looking at the cochlea and all of that stuff in great detail, so that you can see how you actually hear. Okay.